Right, guys, this is MobileGamerNerd, and we are back with another Raid Shadow Legends free-to-play mystery shard only run video. Today we're going to be looking at Chimera. We already did the normal mode on our stream. We are going to be looking at easy mode today because we want to get both boxes, unfortunately, so I'm going to be doing easy this time. We're going to see how much damage we can pull out. We're going to kind of just go over some of the stuff and how this works. So it looks like it's on a rotation, all right? So there's 3 weeks on the rotation, and it looks like it's a week before you get your key back. All right. Now, I'm assuming that's one key. I don't, maybe both keys. I'm not honestly sure, but we get a refill on keys in 5 days. So basically every week we can fight this thing, I guess, and get one key. We did fight normal mode. As you can see, we were able to do 23 million. Our best person in our guild basically did 36.3 million. This is our first shot at this. I mean, it seems like I'm seeing the same heroes in here. I'm seeing Mithrala, I'm seeing Arbiter, Nut I've seen a lot in here, and I've also seen Mr. Wukong in here a lot. Haven't seen her in a lot of teams, but it's kind of cool. So let's go into here real quick, just to take a look at easy mode. So here's our boss guide. Essentially, there's trials going on, all right? He has a bunch of different what is it, modes, I guess you want to call it, different, I don't know what they want to call it, trials here, let's see. So basically he's the regular Chimera, his ultimate form, and then he moves into other versions of himself, like the goat, and then he turns into a lion and a serpent, like all kinds of different things. Each phase, I guess you want to call it, has new skills. We kind of went over all of them in the live show, but like I said, we'll kind of look at it as we go. Here's all your trials. All right, we looked at this, and then the more trials we do in here, by the way, the stronger that this boss becomes, making it harder in subsequent fights, I would assume. All right, now the boss guide is pretty crazy. Like I said, there's tons of attacks in here. Honestly, it would take an entire video just to go through and read this all. So if you're interested in that, we did kind of read through a lot of these skills. Look at this, it's a lot. We did read through a lot of these skills on the live stream, which you can see it was for last week. So it's it's the first live stream up there from the most recent ones. All right, and you can watch that and see us fight it. But look at this. This just nonstop battles. Look at that. There's all your phases. All right, he's pretty cool looking. I mean, I'll give him that. We did talk about it, and honestly, the fight is so long that it's kind of boring in that sense. I guess it depends on what you like, but it is something new, and we do like it. So we're gonna put her in there, and we are going to bring back. Who did we bring in here? We had Syl. I think we had Gerda in here actually. Let's take a look. What was it? Here we go. Go to normal again. Who are we missing? Mithrala. We're missing. Okay, so I've got everybody in there. Got it. Battle. So we've got her, and we had Arbiter. There we go. That was our final team. So we're going to start this on auto and kind of just talk about it as we go and the things I like, things I don't like. Um, Pretty much so far, these fights take a long time. The rounds are very, very long. I think our team that we used before essentially it took 20 minutes for this fight to go. So this is going to be somewhat of a long fight. So let's kind of look at well, like I said, we'll kind of go over the skills again as we go. He attacks all enemies and places a provoke debuff for 1 turn. If the target has less than 50% HP, places a provoke debuff for 2 turns instead. Also places a 30% decreased speed debuff on all enemies. So you need someone who can remove debuffs. Attacks all enemies. The damage inflicted by this skill increases by 10% for each debuff on the Chimera. So now that we have more Chimera debuffs, he gets more attack by 10%. Also places increased speed buff on the Chimera for 2 turns, and its damage is based on attack. So that's not good, right? Transforms Chimera into either Ram, Lion, or Viper form. Also removes all buffs and debuffs. So basically, he can just kind of do whatever he wants every time he gets his new turn. Receives 10% less damage for each enemy with no buffs. So the more buffs, the better. All right, it stacks up to 50%. Also receives 50% less damage from enemies under provoke. So when he provokes you, you do less damage. All right. Here we go. For every 3 trials completed, the Chimera's ultimate form will receive the following bonuses. So he gets more attack, crit damage, all kinds of stuff for as many trials as you complete. All right. And then you've got Almighty Chimera. Basically, he has a bunch of different stuff in here that you can't do to him. Incoming damage inflicted by skills that scale based on Chimera's max HP cannot exceed certain amounts. So poison actually doesn't do more than 20,000 damage, so you can't poison him to death. And your max HP stuff, you can't come in here and one-shot them. All right, damage taken from a tick of HP burn cannot exceed 40k. Yeah, it's crazy. Like reflected damage and damage taken from War Master or Giant Slayer cannot exceed 100,000. He's got all kinds of stuff. The damage taken from Smite debuffs cannot exceed 100,000 on easy, and then up to 350 on Nightmare. So yeah, he definitely has a lot of things that are going to stop you from doing the damage that you want to be doing here. Uh, so far, easy mode is easy. I mean, it's easy for people who didn't just start the game, at least. If you just started, I could see you having some issues here, but for players that have been playing for a while, it doesn't seem to be too hard. All right, so now we've got a new phase. All right, now which one is this? I don't even know which one this is. Monstrous Stomp. Attacks 2 times at random. The first hit will prioritize an enemy under the duel effect. Each hit decreases the target's turn meter. If the target's turn meter is less than 50%, also stuns them, and it grants an extra turn if it was placed, so that's not good. Attacks one enemy, then attacks all other enemies. Increases the damage dealt to all other enemies by 1% for each 1 HP. Sorry, yeah, for each 1 HP lost by the initial target. So that's a lot. Places a stun debuff on all enemies except the initial target for 1 turn. Also decreases the turn meters of all enemies except the initial target if the stun was resisted or blocked. So resisting it is bad as well. Then remove any block debuffs from all enemies. So that's bad. Finally places a 30% decreased crit rate. Look, he just drops a whole bunch of debuffs on you, basically. Attacks one enemy before attacking, removes any buffs positively affecting stats, and replaces them with their mirrored debuff. So basically, anytime you have a buff, you're going to get the opposite version of it. Increase the damage inflicted by 10% for each buff converted. So, yeah, anytime he converts stuff, bad. When the Chimera is under fear or true fear debuff, the damage reduction effect from duel does not activate. So basically, you're going to need someone who can do fears, all right, to make this one work. It also increases the Chimera's turn meter by 50% and decreases the chance of a fear and true fear debuff activating on the Chimera by 25%. So it gets worse the more you use it, I assume. So that's not good. When attacked, reflects 20% of damage the Chimera receives back to the attacker unless they're under the duel effect. So everybody's going to be getting damage reflected, which is not bad. Ignores 50% of the target's defense when attacking an enemy under Taunt, Veil, or Perfect Veil buff. This guy's got a counter to basically everything, and he's got the same stuff here that we saw before with Smite, Burn, all that crap. So it looks like we already lost my boy because he was getting reflected. All the damage is reflecting back. So having that shield from Mithrala is actually kind of good. See? Look at that. He does so much damage that it takes away all his stuff. I mean, I don't know if this is good or bad damage. I'll take it. 6 million, sure, for 10 rounds. Not bad. We'll see how it goes when we switch around to the next phases. We'll be getting another Chimera very soon. Another ultimate form. And then you guys can kind of see. It's nice that we're doing this on easy, so that way, hopefully the fight lasts long enough where we can see every form. There you go. Unholy Morph. We're back to the ultimate form. And yeah, I mean, honestly, the ultimate form doesn't seem to be as bad as the other forms. I think that was the ram we just fought. Yeah, because there's a ram, lion, and serpent. I'm not going to lie. All the forms kind of are jangly together right now. Like, it's hard to really tell which form we're in because all the other separate forms look almost exactly the same, just with a different head. So we're doing pretty good here. Remember, this is easy mode. This is easy mode. So yeah, you're going to see some damage that you probably won't see on normal and Ultra Nightmare. We did 23 million in normal, which is, I don't know if that's good, bad. Who the hell knows? I think the only thing we're really missing on this team at this point is fear or true fear, which is something we're going to need, I think, eventually. We tried using Cleo, but it didn't really help us out too much. So, yeah, at least we get to see this Chimera in action, and you get to see the things that he does. Now, it looks like the rounds do last a pretty reasonably long time. Speed down. Having a lot of debuffs doesn't seem to be a good thing either. Who the hell knows, right? So far, so good, though. And the smites are doing damage, so that's all that really matters. As long as we can if we can keep to that 6 million per round, we might be sitting pretty. I think we finished the fight out on normal. I don't think we lost. We might have. We might have lost right at the end. I don't remember, to be honest. It was a while. It was a couple days ago, and honestly, I was more talking to everybody on the stream than I was actually paying attention to the fight. But yeah, it looks like this fight isn't super ridiculous at this point. Obviously, it's just going to take better heroes and better gear and, you know, more thought as to which heroes you bring into this fight. I think this is going to take kind of a little bit to figure it out. All right, here we go. Lion. All right, so this is the lion form now, which does attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a true fear debuff for 1 turn. Following the initial attack has an 80% chance of repeating this attack against a new target. We'll repeat the attempt against all remaining targets. The chance to repeat attack lowers by 20% after each subsequent hit. The damage inflicted by each successful repeat attack is decreased by 10%, so at least it gets lower. All right. Attacks one enemy 3 times. The first hit places decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. The second is weaken, and debuffs placed by this skill will ignore any block debuffs. The second hit, it's 3 hits. First hit, second hit. The third hit, here we go, applies a debuff spread effect, taking any decreased defense and weakened debuffs on the target and placing them on all enemies except the initial target. Basically hitting everybody for it. Then attacks all enemies except the initial target if they are under decreased defense. So resistance is going to end up becoming pretty important in this fight, I'm going to assume. Attacks one enemy before attacking, removes decreased attack, decreased crit damage debuffs on the Chimera. So all your debuffs go away. We'll ignore 50% of the target's defense. We'll ignore an additional 10% of the target for each debuff removed by this skill. So yeah, if he removes all 3, that means 80%. That's crazy. He grants an extra turn if this attack kills the enemy. So that's not good. If the initial target survives, attacks all other enemies. So basically, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. All right, transforms into Chimera. That's fine. At the beginning of the Chimera's turn, places a Hunter's Gaze debuff on the enemy with the highest defense for 3 turns. This effect cannot be resisted or blocked. Whenever a Hunter's Gaze debuff is removed from an enemy, instantly activates the Annihilation Claw skill against that enemy. That's bad too. All right, what does this do? That's the one, Hunter's Gaze, and once again, immune to everything. So, yeah, he's got some crazy skills. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if this was a hero, I would be upset. Let's take a look at whatever's going on back here. So we've got a heart of blood or something. I don't even know what this is. Is this like? It's funny because it reminds me of the stomach from when you fight Cerberus in Final Fantasy in the Circus Tower, or no, in the World of Darkness in Final Fantasy 14 Online. That's what this reminds me of. I feel like we're fighting the stomach, except in this version, the stomach is a lion. And then this is your trials, so you can see which trials you've gotten and which ones you've been working on. All right, here we go. He's back to ultimate. Let's see if we get the final form. But you see what I mean? There's a lot of skills in here, so you can expect some crazy fights and some crazy things going on. You do get better multipliers the higher up you go for clash points. So we did get, I think it was almost two times. So whatever damage we did on normal, we got double the clash points. So at least they made it so it's a little bit more fair. The higher you go, the double your points. Now everyone's going to be getting it. Obviously, you're going to have most people working their way into Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare. And the rewards are pretty good. The reason we're doing this on easy is because we already did normal once, and we want to get a box from each phase, because that way we can get more pieces of our little mythical hero, hopefully, and we can start saving up for this guy. It's going to be another 100 days, another 100 weeks. Basically, if we can get 1 piece per box, that's 2 a week, which means 50 weeks, which basically means a year if you're doing it on the lowest end. So a year to get this freaking hero. Isn't that fun? Another thing that takes a year to get. But on the plus side, this will be, if we're still playing, I'm assuming we will be. If we're still playing, then this will be our first mythic that we can get, which is nice. Which means we're gonna have to start saving them mythic books. So you probably won't be seeing a champion spotlight anytime soon on that mythic hero, because he's gonna take a while. The good news is that we can actually check out some tournaments maybe and get some stuff. All right, so let's see. This is the final form that we haven't done yet. Attacks all enemies. If there are any dead enemies or if the initial attack kills at least one enemy, place an extra hit. Has a 50% chance of placing Fear, True Fear, Freeze, Provoke, Sleep, Stun, or Petrification debuff on each enemy for 1 turn. That's crazy. Attacks all enemies. This attack deals single target damage to each target individually rather than AoE damage. Before attacking, places Hex debuff and 100% heal reduction debuff on all enemies. That's crazy. Instantly activates all poison debuffs on all enemies, so that's bad. Here we go. Transforms Chimera. This is the one we just saw, right? Before attacking, steals all buffs from all enemies except continuous heal buffs. Places 3 poison buffs and a 25% poison sensitivity debuff. Then increases the duration of all poison debuffs on all enemies. That's Jesus Christ. It's a lot of poison. Whenever an enemy is killed, places Necrosis stack on all other enemies. Necrosis stacks cannot be resisted or blocked. Necrosis stacks can only be removed by reviving dead allies. So basically, if they die, you got to revive them. So having revivers is kind of important here. Otherwise, you get a bunch of necrosis. Enemy of mortality. Revived enemies will have 25% less HP and 25% less turn meter. So yeah, we're going to be losing a little bit there. Whenever a Chimera kills an enemy, removes any block active skills debuff from itself. At the start of the Chimera's turn, transfers all poison debuffs on the Chimera to all enemies. All transferred debuffs last for 2 turns. Denies 1 enemy revival attempt. If multiple enemies are revived at once, will deny 1. So yeah, he can deny things. He can veto your revive is what he can do. He's like, "Oh yeah, you want to revive? Well, tough. You know what?" Well, as you can see, look, we're getting close to that halfway mark, and we're already at 13 minutes. So luckily, this is only a week-long thing. So the fact that it takes this long, though originally pissed me off, it's not honestly as bad as I thought. Especially because we only have to do this once a week. You know what I mean? Or twice, whatever. So realistically, I can just put this on and go to bed or something. Like I can do anything else. We're not going to watch it. Like we're probably just going to let it run every single time. And that's it. Like that's kind of what Chimera is. We don't have to think too hard here right now because we're not into the higher stages. Once we get into normal and, Nightmare and all that stuff, yeah. Not normal. Nightmare, it's going to be a little tough. Like I honestly wish we could be doing this on normal again so that we could because I can beat it. I'm hoping that this lasts a little bit longer. I'm curious as to when we're going to get our rewards for the week. If it's at a week or a month, like if it's going to take a month for us to get rewards from this, that's kind of annoying, especially if you can buy stuff in the shop. We didn't look yet to see if that's something you can do. And we'll take a look at some of the artifacts after the fight, which is all in crafting. And you need 100 pieces of any type to craft an artifact. So you need 100 blue to craft 1 blue artifact, 100, 100 purple, I think. We'll look and see again, but it looks like it's 100 of any type to be able to craft that artifact. Yeah, this guy is, like I said, it's such a long fight. I don't know why it needs to be this long, to be honest. I think when we were playing it on normal, I was like, I almost want to die. Like, I want to lose this fight just so that I don't have to watch it anymore because it's such a long fight for no reason. But this is why when we got to Nightmare in regular Clan Boss, we were like super excited when we found out that when we beat it in a single turn. Because right there, that saved me like what? 10 to 20 minutes per fight a day. We just skip it and that's it. Done. It takes 3 seconds now to do it. So I'm hoping we get to that point here. It's Stampede guy again. So the ram head. So far, this doesn't seem to be a very dangerous fight. What was it? 6 million we did 6 million per 10 rounds, right? So 24 million should be 40 rounds. So we're actually doing reasonably well. 6 times 6 is 36. So we'll do somewhere around 36 to 40 million damage probably at this point. Now I saw like Nut in a couple of the teams. I saw a few other heroes, Wukong. They seem to be doing pretty good in this fight, especially since Wukong can revive himself. So I guess that's helpful against the Necrosis. This is the one that counterattacks everything, I think. So having self-regeneration is good. or someone who can revive your heroes when they die. Because look, your weak attackers, your defensively weak attackers, are going to die in this part. Spirit Host is great for this fight because she doesn't die. She can heal herself every time, so she's going to attack and heal. Look at that. Yukaro is just killing himself left and right. Everyone else can survive. It's just Yukaro that's a schmuck and dies. Oh yeah, take the smite. I kind of want this. I want this version to be over. This is my least favorite one, I think. It's the only one that I've seen my heroes really die on. Because look at that, 30k damage to themselves. Dead. He's just gonna keep killing himself. And Sill's just gonna keep coming in and reviving him. Yeah, that counter sucks butt. Ooh. Is he gonna change yet? What's this one? Stampede. I think it's every 3 rounds, right? Let's see if your Carl kills himself again. Ooh, look at that. So much reflected damage. There we go. Finally, he's gone. And they killed you, Carl, again. Oh my God, you killed you, Carl! You bastards! Yeah, that was my South Park. There we go. Revive, heal, shield. Nice. Back in business. So we're ahead of the curve for the 6 million mark. Not bad. I'm hoping we'll make it to 40. It looks like this team works reasonably well. I mean, whether or not it's the best team I can bring in here, who the hell knows, you know? We do have a lot of heroes and a lot of skills that could be useful in here. It's going to take a couple of runs. We're going to have to run this a few times and see how it goes. We are going to let this ride, whatever this is, the damage here, we're going to let it sit. So that's fine. Because like I said, we want both. We want both boxes. So I don't care. We already obviously got the final box. The for normal mode, I think it's like 9.7 million damage you have to do, and we did 23 million there. So yeah, we definitely have whatever box is max for this version. Hopefully the rest of my guild can kill the last 10 million damage on the Chimera and normal. I'm hoping. Hoping for the best. I'm taking it upon myself to believe in my guild. That they can do what they need to do. I'm hoping for the best. If not, then whatever. We fight it, whatever. It'll happen again. That's the good news about clan bosses. There's always another one. All right, so we're down to 20 rounds. But you see what I mean with how long these fights are? I don't really think this fight needs to be this long. Like, I think we get the point. To be honest, I feel like I wish it was they just adjusted it to where the damage basically you get one phase of each one, and it could be a random turn order. I don't care, whatever. But I think letting it sit for 65 turns when it's this slow, it's a little rough. I'm not gonna lie. I'm curious how. I'm hoping he's faster, to be honest, in the higher versions. Because I'd like these fights to last like, 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops. 25 to 30 minutes for this is quite ridiculous. Which is honestly my least favorite part of this. That's it. The fact that it is this long. Even though it's only twice a week, like I said, once a week, whatever it's going to be, it's just it's a lot of time to just sit here and watch this crap. You know what I mean? Like it's not like we're sitting here like having fun, inputting different things and trying some new stuff. Like it's literally just autoing it. You're just going to auto the crap. So it doesn't make it fun. Let's put it that way. I would have been better off. I would have been happier if they just did like a 5-minute fight where there's some maybe some stuff you could do where you can't auto it. I'd be fine with that. I'd rather 5 minutes of non-autoing than 20 or 30 minutes of autoing. It almost feels like you're not playing the game while this is going on. All right, so we're looking at 6 million damage every 10 rounds. So that means we should hit the 40 mark. We should honestly beat the 40 mark. All right, so we're at 33 right there. Right there. Nope. Right there. All right, so now we need 7 million to hit 40, which we should do by 50. I mean, by 60. That should be fine. 40 million should be hit by the time we get to 60. All right, so figure, what is it? 22 minutes. So that's 5 times. So that's 4 minutes. So it's 4.5 minutes per 10 rounds ish right now. So figure we've got about another 6 minutes or so left. 6 or 7 minutes left until this is done. So yeah, we're looking at about a 30-minute fight on easy because we're going to survive. Because he's not going to kill us, so we're going to go the whole 65. So that's why this is going to take a little bit longer. So if you are getting here for the first time and you've been playing for a while, expect a long fight if you haven't had time to do it yet. Just expect it to go for a while. And if you want to try to train on easy to see what works and what doesn't, I honestly think that that's the worst thing you can do. It's probably better that you train on the highest level because that way the fights will go longer and you'll see if your team dies quick. This is you don't want to wait 30 minutes to decide whether or not your team's doing okay. Unless you're just testing out damage, in which case, that's fine. You could do it. I think we did that on the stream. You just test it because you can restart if you want for free. So if you want, you could just run maybe 10 rounds. So that's 5 minutes of your time on auto to see how much damage you do and just switch out heroes to see how much you do. And if you get a bad run, then just switch to a different team. 36. It's crazy to me that that wall in my alliance did 57 million here. It just goes to show you how strong Nut really is, man. Nut's a monster. I guess Wukong does good in here as well. He's got block debuffs and stuff too, right? I don't know who's got fear though. I'm trying to think who I would have that I could bring in here that has fear. Like I said, we've got Headsman, but I don't know. Is Headsman really worth switching any one of the heroes that I have here right now currently? I don't know. I have to decide which heroes I need to. Oh, there goes the poisons. There goes the poisons. Luckily, we don't need them. Oh, and we got a Hex. So this is the guy that poisons everybody and does a bunch of nonsense, I think. They all do a bunch of nonsense. Dude's got like a little scorpion tail. Look at this. It looks like its own little monster head, right? Right? Let's say that. He's pretty. Look at this thing over here. I like that this thing kind of fights like a horse. He like stomps. He stomps and he's like, "Nay!" Oh, I forgot. We don't want to single target him. He is the only target. Getting a reasonable amount of smite. I wish there was like a thing on here that showed like how much smite damage you got during a fight, so you can tell if your team sucks and smite is the only reason you're winning. Pop him in the face. It's the longest clan boss fight ever. Funny enough, I'm actually playing a different game while this is running, while we're talking. I'm like, oh, look, I can do my other game while we do this, and it would be fine. It's good because it's helping me catch up on some stuff. It's helping me do some things on my other games while I play this. So I would highly recommend just letting this run and go make breakfast, or you could dance the Macarena in the time that you're playing this. You can, I don't know, there's a lot of things you can do. You could build a spaceship while you wait for this to finish. You could also go out and, I don't know, run around the block 6 times. You could do that, and that would be a good use of your time while this runs for your first time on easy and normal. More than likely, normal took just as long. Like it was pretty much the same thing. I think it was a little bit slower. So I think we did die. So he does gain speed and more turn meter in the higher areas. So you can at least know that even though this sucks on easy, watching this, it does get a little bit faster because you're gonna die. So that's the good news. The good news, I never thought the good news in a fight would be that you're gonna die. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna lose quicker. So don't fret. All right, we're almost at the win point. Can we hit 42 million? That would be nice. I was just curious to see. The reason we're using the same team is I was curious to see how much damage we would do versus what we did on normal. All right, final round. There we go. 42 million. I'll take it. 45 million clash points. That's my kind of business. Oh, who's excited? Who is excited for this to end? I've never been more excited in my entire life, to be honest. I was like, please end. All right, we're at 31 minutes this video. We'll just take a quick look at artifacts just so you can kind of see them. I don't want to spend too much time after this long ass Chimera fight. Boom, right in the face. 42.98 million. Keep result. Yes, please. All right, so we got 7 of these eyeballs. That's exciting. Can we buy another one? No. All right, so here we go. Normal easy mode. We got 42 million. I'll take it. So let's look at some players. All right, so 85, he did 12 million damage here at level 85. 56 did 7 million. So yeah, 50s, you're 58, 53, so 4. And then the lower, yeah, 30 million. So yeah, I mean, it's you could this is kind of what you can expect. Here we go, level 38, 196 damage, 96k. So yeah, I mean, you're going to need to do what? 4 million to get the first chest on easy. All right. So this is kind of a good, actually, this is kind of good that you can see this. So figure if you are lower than level 50, unless you've got some really good heroes, you may have some trouble here. Over 50, it looks like people are able to do it in one key. All right. Yeah, 56, see what I mean? And then once you get into this mark, I mean, see what I mean? Level 57, anything over 50, if you got good heroes, you'll be able to get through. So this is a good team right here. Looks like Wukong's on there again. Ninja is a good one for this. Who is this? Woad. So yeah, Woad's been doing good. You got the Ninja Girl in here, which could be okay. I don't know why they chose her, maybe for the accuracy, but hey, it worked, right? 12 million at level 57. That's damn good. All right. 58 here, 13 million. So here you go. The two boneheads here that I hate in the arena. You got War Mother, right? Is that who that is? Right? War Mother? Yeah, so look at this. So Ninja's putting up 3 million on this team. War Mother's doing 3 million here. And then let's look at Wall. All right, so Rio is really good in here. So look at Wukong, 14 million. So Wukong looks like is a really good hero if you are using every hero at your disposal. Nut did 18 million, so he's a beast. I told you, Nut's just freaking cracking eggs in here. And Rio, everybody on here did pretty good. So, and she's just there for the lulls. But it looks like this is a pretty good team that does reasonable damage if you're just trying to get your first kill. But it looks like everybody is using Wukong. Even at low level, Wukong did 1.6 million, and Loki is pretty good here too, I guess, 1.7. So it looks like Loki's not a bad option. It looks like most of the heroes that you get from the freebies are okay. So if anything, just use your freebie heroes. All right, so let's look at Forge, relic crafting. See, you need 25, 25, 25, 25, and you can craft, I guess. I don't know if it's 25 per relic or if it's 100 to get one relic. I'm assuming it is 100. Here's your collection. Oh, no, we don't want that. We didn't want that at all. Relic index. See what I mean? There's stuff in here that's kind of crazy. We looked at this. Magma shield at the start. Whenever the wearer heals an ally with an active skill, has 25% chance of placing fervor buff. When the wearer receives fatal damage, reduces it by 50% of their turn meter. So basically, your turn meter takes the hit, kind of. Wearer has a 25% chance to reflect debuffs, so that's cool. You've got the wearer's defense increases by 1% each time they receive damage, up to 10%. Turn meter increase whenever an ally dies. Wearer is instantly healed by 10% when their HP drops below 50. See what I mean? Like, these are all standard stuff. There's nothing crazy in here. When you get into the Chimera ones, though, however, this is something we talked about that's a little bit crazy. Wearer has a 20% chance of placing a Storm Call buff on themselves whenever they land a critical hit. Wearer has 50% chance to take 2 turns in a row. If this effect activates, Wearer skips the next turn, occurs only once per battle. So that's not bad that it's only once. Wearer's next attack after killing an enemy does 20% more damage. So basically, if you're able to kill someone in the arena, yeah, you get to do it again because you're going to do 20% more damage. Wearer reduces the chance of debuff application, buff removal, or steal effects, turn meter reduction effects, and increases skill cooldowns. But that's a ridiculous skill. Wearer's damage increases by 1% each time any other champion takes a turn when the wearer is under Veil or Perfect Veil buff, stacks up to 30%. That's crazy talk. Wearer has 10% chance to steal a random buff when attacking. This effect cannot be resisted, so that's awesome, even better. Wearer's damage increases by 1% each time they place a debuff. So once again, this is something we said was kind of crazy. If you put that on Cavalax, he puts up poisons on everybody. I think it's like 4 poisons on every hero in the beginning of a fight. So in the arena, he's 30% stronger within the first round. How cool is that? Wearer has 20% chance to deal 10% more damage when attacking. That's what I mean. It's kind of whatever. Defense increases by 1% for each ally under ally protection. Wearer turn meter reduction effects are boosted by 15%, and then Wearer's turn meter increase by 10% when applying any of these debuffs, and occurs once per turn. So that's your relics, and everybody's going to be getting, in case you were wondering, your first relic for free. And there it is, the Unholy Grail. I assume everybody gets the same one. I don't know. But we put it on to Yakarl, gave him some more attack. And so far, it's been working out really well. It gave him a little bit of a power boost. So yeah, my boy is he's hitting like a truck now. He's got 5,100 attack. So it gave him a little bit more attack because of that relic, which is very nice. Okay. So yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions or things you want to talk about, feel free. Any teams that you want to bring in here, I pretty much showed you what I know at this point. We're going to try and test out some teams, and this is just the initial kind of walkthrough of what it is and what I've been noticing. And hopefully it's not as long at the higher levels. I think we'll be past normal after this rotation, and then we'll see how the next few rotations go. I'm curious how Nightmare is going to be and how long that's going to take. Hopefully it's a little bit quicker. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any teams that you guys have used, feel free, leave them in the comments, because like this is all new to everybody. So if you've had success with certain heroes, like I showed you in those teams, I mean, obviously Wukong's doing good, Rio's good, Ninja's good. These are all heroes that everybody gets if you've been playing them for a while. I mean, I'm not going to be using them, but yeah, you can use them. Look at this. I mean, there's all these other... oh, what's going on here? My mouse was being stupid. There's all these other options here in the reserve vault that you could use, all right, over time. So all these heroes might be good in there. So just remember that there's plenty of heroes out there for you guys, okay? And as always, like, share, subscribe. You help the channel grow. We do a live show every single week. And if you want to become a member, you can see all my videos early, and you get emojis, and you get a free video every week. See? So yeah, this is Chimera on easy mode, just kind of chilling with it and seeing how this boss goes. This is Mobile Gamer Nerd, and you guys take care.